Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Na Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hari Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hari Jai Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jayo Srila Prabhupada Jai Jayo Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jayo Srila Prabhupada जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव जय शीला गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय शीला गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। श्री श्री निताय गौरांग भगवान की जय। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। शिला गुरुदेव की जय। समस्त वैष्णव आचार्य वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to Assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 So today we will be reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 10, Chapter 57, from text 38 to 39. The chapter entitled Satrajit murdered, the jewel returned. So reciting the verse number 39. Darsayashva Mahabhaga Sayashva Maha Bandhunam Santim Avaha Bandhunam Santim Abhyuchinna Makaste Adya Kaste Vartante Rukma Vedaya Tante Rukma Ved Darshayashva Mahabhaga Darshayashva Bandhunam Santim Avaha Bandhunam Santim Avaha Abhyachinna Makaste Adya Makaste Adya Vartante Rukma Vedaya Tante Rukma Vedaya Darsayashva Mahabhaga Darsayashva Mahabhaga Bandhunam Santimavaha Bandhunam Santimavaha Abhyachinna Makaste Adya Abhyachinna Makaste Adya Vartante Rukma Vedaya Darsayashva Mahabhaga Bandhunam Santimavaha Abhyachinna Makaste Adya Vartante Rukma Vedaya Darsayashva Mahabhaga Bandhunam Santimavaha Kartinam Akaste Adya Vartante Rukma Vedaya Darsayashva Mahabhaga Bandhunam Santimavaha Abhyochinna Makaste Adya Vartante Rukma Vedaya. Mataji's Akshanasa Mahabhaga Bandhunam Santimavaha Abhyochinna Makaste Adya Vartante Rukma Vedaya. Word to word meaning Darsa Yashva. Please show it. Mahabhaga. O most fortunate one. Bandhu Nam. To my relatives. Santim. Peace. Avaha. Bring. Avyachinna. uninterrupted makaha sacrifices te yor adya now vartante are going on rukma of gold vedaya whose altars. So translation is for both the verses 38 39. So I will just recite the 38th verse. तथापि दुर्धरस्तो अन्यास्त्वया अस्तं सुव्रते मणि किन्तु माम अग्रजा सम्यान अनाप्रत्येति मणिं प्रति. So translation for both the verses and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada disciples ki jai. Translation. Nevertheless, the jewel should remain in your care, O trustworthy Akrura, because no one else can keep it safely. But please show the jewel just once, since my elder brother does not fully believe that I have told him about it. In this way, O most fortunate one, you will pacify my relatives. Everyone knows you have the jewel for. You are now continually performing sacrifices on altars of gold. Purport. Although technically Satyabhama's sons had a right to the jewel, Lord Krishna decided to leave the jewel in the care of Akrura, who was using the jewel's wealth to continually perform religious sacrifices. Indeed, Akrura's ability to perform such rituals on altars of gold was an indication of the jewel's potency. So let us recite the prayers together. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितमाश्च. नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरविषे नमः. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते उपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यं जगन्नाथाय ते नमः. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुवैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings at the lotus feet of all the devotees, especially His Grace Acharan Prabhu, so that I can say something for my own purification and for the glorification of the Supreme Lord. So today we are reading this verse. So we are almost at the end of this chapter, and we have seen since the beginning that how this Samantaka jewel, how it came, how it created all kinds of different situations, So all these details we have already read, and finally this Akrura, he is finally returned from Banaras, and now Krishna is asking Akrura that we all know that the jewel is with you, so can you just show me so that I can convince my elder brother that jewel is actually with you. So we have discussed all these things till now, the devotees have explained. So today I thought that we can discuss that what important lessons which we can learn from this wonderful pastime of Shamantika Jewel, and how this pastime can help us in our own personal life, in our own personal spiritual life basically. So we'll try to discuss few lessons which we can learn from this pastime. So first we see that throughout the chapter that Krishna is a loving God and he is not a punishing God. So Krishna does not punish his devotees. So starting we see that when Satyajit, he got the jewel, so Krishna requested him that you give the jewel to the king of the Yadavas, that is Ugrasena. But Satyajit, he refused, he did not give. Now Krishna, he could have forcibly taken the jewel from Satyajit, or he could have punished Satyajit, or he could have done anything. But he does not do anything. He just, if Satyajit wants the jewel with him, then he allows him to have the jewel. That is we see with Satyajit, and in Satyadhanva he kills because he committed a heinous crime. So as a Kshatriya, so it was his duty also to just to set the religious principles. So that is why he killed. And in case of Akrura also we see that Akrura, when he comes to know that Krishna, Balram, they will come to know about that how I am also involved in this conspiracy. So he flees, he just goes to Banaras, he flees there. So now Krishna also does not punish Akrura, or does not think that he has done something wrong. So Krishna wants that Akrura should return back to Dwarka. So that is why he starts orchestrating different kinds of natural calamities. So this Adi Davik place which is there, so because all the devtas are under the control of Krishna. So when Krishna is in Dwarka, so it's not that any kind of earthquake or any other inauspicious or natural calamity can occur. But Krishna does this because of two purposes. First is that even the Dwarka Vasis, they also come to know that Akrura is involved in this conspiracy. So they will be having negative feeling for Akrura. So that feeling they will be having. So now when this natural calamities starts happening, then all the residents of Dwarka, so they start actually feeling the need of Akrura. They feel that when Akrura was here, so no auspicious things was happening, and they start then remembering that incident or the episode that how Akrura's father, when it was not raining in Banaras, then this daughter of the king of the Banaras got married to his father. They all feel that Akrura is a very wonderful personality endowed with divine qualities. So he should be in he should be in Dwarka. So that feeling all the residents of Dwarka developed. Second is that Akrura himself would have felt ashamed to return back to Dwarka because he had committed this kind of conspiracy, this kind of a sin, we can say, for understanding purpose. So he would have felt unwanted in Dwarka. But Krishna orchestrated in these things so that Akrura feels that he is wanted in Dwarka. He feels that he is welcomed in Dwarka. So that is why when Krishna asks Akrura to return back to Dwarka, then he happily agrees and comes back to Dwarka. So this is we see the quality of Krishna. That although the living entities, the soul, they want to go away from Krishna, but Krishna wants them to return back to the spiritual kingdom. So in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the book written by Sanatan Goswami, so he narrates the story of Gop Kumar. So in Gop Kumar's pastime also what we see, that when Gop Kumar finally he returns to the Golok Vrindavan, the abode of Krishna, then when Krishna sees Gop Kumar, then he actually runs from a distance and he embraces Gop Kumar. And when he embraces Gop Kumar, then after embracing him, he is so emotionally overpowered that Krishna, he becomes unconscious and he falls down on the ground. So there we see that even Gop Kumar is not that much excited as compared to Krishna to return back to the spiritual world. So that is the excitement, or that is the desire which Krishna is having, that all the living entities should come back to the spiritual world. And then when Gopkumar is there, then Krishna then finally embraces him. And then he is saying that you were away from me for so many millions of lifetime. You suffered so much. You suffered heat. You suffered rain. There were cold climates were there. You encountered different kinds of suffering. So what was the need of these sufferings? Now you have come here. I am so happy with you. You just be here only. Now you never go away from here. So that is the heart of Krishna, that he wants everyone to come back to the spiritual kingdom. And in Gita also we see that in Krishna says that the famous verse of 18.66, he says that you do not have to worry about anything, whatever sins also, whatever you have committed. So I am ready to forgive you of all your sins. You just lead a sin-free life and you lead a fear-free life. Krishna says that aham tam sar papebhyo, I will deliver you from all kinds of sinful reactions. And moksyasmi ma sucha, do not fear. Do not have to fear in this world. You live fearlessly, you come back to my spiritual kingdom. So that Krishna says, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally he comes to this to our material, to this material world, just to teach us how to lead a Krishna conscious life. He personally, just like a teacher, sometimes he takes up something like a chalk in the classroom and teaches a primary school children how to write A, how to write B, how to write C. This is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he comes and teaches us that how we should be chanting the name of Krishna, how we should be following the different regulative principles. So this is how the love which Krishna is having for his devotees. So he is always loving. He is never interested in punishing everyone. If anyone does not want to intend, is interested also. Sometimes punishment is there. It is only for our own personal purification. That is the one lesson we see, that Krishna is a loving God, not a punishing God. Second is that we see that Krishna has feelings like you and me. Or better to say that we have feelings because Krishna has feelings. So we see when Krishna is accused in Dwarka that he has stolen the Samantaka jewel, then Krishna, he does not feel happy. He feels pain inside his heart. So his feelings is hurt. Krishna's feeling is hurt. So he wants to remove that stain, wants to remove the infamy from his name. That is why he goes and he finds out that who has killed Prasena. Then after that, he returns back and he just makes sure that no one accuses him that he has stolen the jewel. So Krishna is not interested in to be known as the jewel thief in Dwarka, but in Vrindavan, he delights to be called as butter thief. So there he intentionally goes and steals butter from the house of the gopis, because he knows that the butter which gopis are churning, that is, they are doing only for him, only for Krishna only. And the gopis actually delight when gopis are actually desperately waiting that when Krishna is going to come to our house and steal the butter. That is the loving exchange which Krishna is getting from the gopis, and Krishna enjoys that kind of loving reciprocations. So Krishna always wants that his feelings, his sentiments should be respected. The way like we expect that our feelings, our sentiments should be respected, similarly Krishna also expects. So there is one story related to Saligram Sila, which I had heard in one Bhagvatam class long back. So the story is that once one Brahman, so he saw that one Saligram Sila is there, and that Saligram Sila is in a butcher's shop. And because that butcher is in complete ignorance, so he does not know what is this Saligram Sila all about. So he uses that as a weight to weight the all kind of nonsense stuffs and all. So when Brahmana sees that, so he completely becomes shocked that what is happening to this Saligram Sila. So immediately asks the butcher to give him the Saligram Sila. So butcher asks for some money that I cannot give you for free, so you have to give me some money. So the Brahmana arranges money and gives it to butcher and takes back the Saligram Sila. And he brings it back to his house and he starts worshipping the Saligram Sila. He does Abhishek, all the Aarti, paraphernalia, whatever he had to use. He uses it for serving the Saligram Sila. So he does it and then he goes out. So when after worshipping the Saligram Sila, when he goes out and when he returns back, he sees that Saligram Sila is not in his house. So he's completely like shocked that where the Saligram Sila has gone. So he again goes and he starts frantically searching. So he again comes to the shop of the same butcher and he sees that the Saligram Sila is again there. So he asked the Brahmana asked that, how did this Sila came to you? So the butcher said, I also do not know. Today when I opened my shop, I saw that the Saligram Sila is kept here. So I was just thinking that you do not need it, so I have returned the Saligram Sila to me. So I was also preparing to give back your money also. So the Brahmana says, no, I do not want the money, I want Saligram Sila back. So the Brahmana again brings the Saligram Sila back and again he starts worshipping. And again when he goes out, then the Saligram Sila disappears. And sometimes he goes to the same butcher shop, sometimes he goes to the other butcher shop, and again, Brahmana is bringing the Sila back to his house. So he is completely astonished that how is it happening, that why the Saligram Sila is not staying at his house. So one day he just sits in front of the Saligram Sila, begging the Lord that to tell him that what mistake he is committing, that he is not staying at his house. Then when he is meditating and thinking about it, when he is contemplating, then a voice comes from within, where the Saligram Sila, in a very upset mood, he is saying that for these many years I was suffering at the butcher shop and no one was taking care of me. Everyone was like ill-treating me and no one was there to take care of me. No one was bothered about me. So why are you interested about me right now? Let me be there only, let me suffer there only. So then the Brahmana says that he begs forgiveness and all, and he says that that a great blunder happened, and also he was not able to see that you were there in the butcher shop and all, and he begs forgiveness. Then suddenly Saligram Sila stays back, and the Brahmana begins worshipping the Saligram Sila. So this pastime shows that the Supreme Lord is not impersonal, but he is personal, and he is a sentient being. So he has lots of feelings. He wants that the devotee should be having a loving reciprocation with him. That the Saligram Sila has a great desire. Not the Saligram Sila, means the Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna, he has a great desire that there should always be a loving reciprocation. Like sometimes we see also in our life, like sometimes when some person is neglected in the house or in a community, then after that when we try to bring back that person person is upset. That person does not want to return back because his feelings has been hurt. So because that feeling has been hurt, so it is not easily to mend that feeling. So it takes time. So that is why this that feeling of reciprocation that Krishna wants. So when we are like serving the deities also, because we know that the scripture says, Acharyas have explained, that the deities are not the deity of the Supreme Lord, deity of Krishna, deity of God Nitai. They are not different from Krishna, not different from God Nitai. So when we are serving them, then we should be treating them as a person. The way we treat a person, the way we should be serving them. So that is what we see, that Krishna's feelings should be respected the way we think that our feelings should be respected. And the third lesson, what we see is that Krishna is desperate for our love and nothing else. He just wants our love, and apart from that, he wants nothing else. So in this pastime, we see that when Satyajit finally realizes his mistake, that the jewel was never stolen by Krishna, he was never involved in that conspiracy. So just to atone his sins, so what he decides that first of all, he decides that his daughter Satyabhama should be offered to Krishna. And Krishna knew the heart of Satyabhama, that how much love she is having. So he readily accepts Satyabhama. But when Satyajit wants to give back the jewel, then Krishna is not interested. And Krishna refuses to take, and he says that no, you keep it with you only. And we see also when Krishna refuses to take, then Satyajit is not like pressing Krishna, no, you take the jewel. He just keep it with himself only. So Krishna is never interested. So Krishna is not interested in whatever artifacts we are giving to Krishna, whatever gifts we are giving to Krishna, or whatever any other stuffs we are giving to Krishna. So Krishna is only interested with what feeling we are giving it to him. Whether we are giving it with love or whether we are giving it with just a formality. That is why in Bhagavad Gita, 26th verse of 9th chapter, he is saying that whatever you give it to me. So he just mentions something, but he says that you give it to me with love. And he just mentioned few words, like you give me something like flour, okay, fine. You give me some food, some fruits you want to give me, you give it to me, no problem. You want to give you some flour, it is fine, you give it to me. That is also fine with me. Then he says that, okay, fine, you give me leaf also or water also. I'm not bothered about that. But the most important thing, the most important ingredient is that you should be giving it with lots and lots of love to me. So sometimes, like we can relate to it, that suppose that when we are meeting with some of our friends after a very, very long time, when we met with them, when we began our devotional life, and after a few years, suppose that we are meeting, then suppose that our friend has invited us to lunch. Then when our friend calls us and asks that what should we prepare you for your lunch, then we may say that no, we are not interested. That whatever you are cooking for me, I'm not interested in that. We just want to catch up and we just want to talk to you, speak to you, and we just want to spend time with each other. So do not spend too much time in preparing anything. No, nothing lavish preparation is required. Any simple thing you prepare, some rice dal, simple rice dal also, khichdi also, anything you prepare. But we both just want to spend time with you. And then we go to our friend's house, then we start discussing that how we came to Krishna consciousness, how in the college days we were going to Vice, how we were attending Mangalarti, how we were going temple. And we keep on talking, and it becomes 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And we forget also our food, lunch and anything. Because that time there is like loving reciprocation, that love is there. That is what Krishna is not interested what you give it to me. I'm not interested in that, but only I'm interested in the love which you are trying to give it to me. That is the love which I want. That is why we have that famous pastime where we see that Duryodhan ka bhog na khayo, sukha saag vidur ghar khayo. So Duryodhan had prepared a lavish preparation, but Krishna was not at all interested only. And that Vidurani, forget about Sak also, but Vidurani was peeling the banana, and out of love, out of emotion, she was throwing away the banana and she was giving the peels to Krishna. And Krishna was happily taking it. In the pastime of Lord Ram also, we see that what Lord Ram is doing, he is taking that bear which has been half eaten by Sabri. So he is just taking it because that is being given because of love. That is the third lesson we see, that Krishna is only interested in our love and nothing else. And the fourth lesson we learn is that we choose to suffer when we choose to misuse our free will. So Satyajit was in a sense, not in a sense, Dwarka is a abode of Krishna, so he was in the spiritual kingdom. So in the spiritual abode, he had everything. But in spite of having everything, he wanted to enjoy independence from Krishna. And since he wanted to enjoy independence from Krishna, so he had to suffer for that. He misused his free will and he had to suffer for that. Now, he initially thought that Krishna is interested in the jewel. But the question is that why Krishna will be interested in the jewel? Because in Brahma Samhita clearly says that what Krishna is there in 35th chapter of the 35th verse of the Brahma Samhita, it is mentioned that Brahmaji is saying that Yas Shakti Rasti Jagadanta Chhaya Yad Anta. That this entire universe that has been created by the Supreme Lord, so all the universes has been created by him and he also exists in each of the universes. That is what Brahmaji is saying. And we know that there are millions and zillions, means infinite universes are there. And in each universe there is one Brahmaji. And in each universe there is one Sun God. It's not that there is, in this universe only has the Sun God. And we know that pastime that when Brahmaji comes to Dwarka, then Krishna asks that which Brahma has come. Then Brahmaji is astonished because he thinks that he is the only Brahma in the entire creation. So he is just the four-headed Brahma. And when he sees in front of Krishna, so there are 8-headed Brahma, 16-headed Brahma, 32-headed Brahma, 1,000-headed Brahma, millions of headed Brahma. So for us it will be difficult to comprehend, but there are like millions and millions of Brahmas are there. So only millions and millions of sun god is there. And there is just one simple Samantaka Jabal, one sun god is having, that millions and millions of just such Samantaka Jabal is there in entire millions of universes. So Krishna is not interested in any Samantaka Jabal or something like that. But Satyajit, he misuses his free will. And since he misuses his free will, so we see that how he is suffering. So we always have this question, we always have this thinking that how the spirit soul can fall down. So this is, we see one of the examples that in a spiritual abode only from Dwarka, how the spirit soul is falling down. So Prabhupada very nicely explains. He, Shri Nitai 𝐂𝐻𝐌𝐌𝐍 𝐾𝐎𝐻, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Srila Prabhupada explains that how the spiritual, from the spiritual world, how the spirit soul falls down. So Prabhupada writes in the Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in chapter 87, Prayers by the Personified Veda. So Prabhupada there, he is writing, the material world was created for the enjoyment of living entities who wanted to give up the eternal